Moving on to my next question to the CSAAA. I noted that in the last meeting, I was asking about the 5-round magazine limit, and I'm aware that there are a number of non-restricted, primarily non-restricted rifles in Canada that can be substituted using a handgun magazine that can hold 10 rounds. Do you have any evidence that these firearms have been used or have been any inherent fact that these firearms have 10 rounds? Have they been, used in crimes? Is this something that's a concern?
Absolutely not. There's been no direct correlation of data with those particular firearms that have the ability to have a higher capacity due to the pistol magazine exemption of the 5-round limit in semi-automatic firearms. There's been no evidence that those firearms have been used in crimes, or there's been an increase in public safety concerns.
Yeah, and to clarify, nobody's suggesting that we should be legalizing high capacity magazines in Canada, but for the case of these firearms in particular that could be impacted by this legislation, you haven't seen any crimes. There hasn't been a public safety argument as far as you've seen that these are being used in crimes because of their capacity.
Correct. Yes, we've seen no data to suggest that there's an increase in public safety concerns.
One concern I had, there was a provision in the bill that said forcing people to show their license to prevent trafficking. For example, it said straw purchasing. I've always kind of thought straw purchasing for handguns or restricted weapons was a bit of a red herring, considering that they're registered. So anyone who would straw purchase a restricted firearm and then sell it on the black market would be really opening themselves up, because it would be quite easy to identify who is committing this. Can you maybe talk about straw purchasing? Like, is it a serious issue?
Straw purchasing represents a very small amount of guns that end up in the hands of criminals. It is still something that is on the radar, and the industry has worked a lot with NWest to identify straw purchasers. We've had a 3-year program now that has been extremely successful in lowering these amounts of straw purchasing.
Did you receive government support for this program, or was this something industry took on itself?
This is something that industry took on all on its own. We received no government support and no government direction.
Would government support help you to make that program stronger, you think?
Absolutely. We've requested it and we have not received it, but we would definitely help out.
Yeah, like in your case, in my last few seconds, can you give examples of what kind of straw purchasing you've seen?
Yes, there's been a couple of examples where individuals have purchased handguns in volume from different retailers, therefore making it hard for the retailers to identify. However, every one of those transactions was approved by the Chief Firearms Office and the RCMP, and it seemed more concerning to us, and that's why we took it on as an industry to look into it. We could not understand how the Chief Firearms Office and the RCMP were not able to identify this before they approved the transaction.